Hi, welcome back. We've been talking about false memory. We got to hear Elizabeth Loftus talk about it a little bit, and I'm going to keep talking about it here in this blog entry. One way of looking at false memory is as a couple of the 7 sins of memory. One of them is misattribution. And misattribution happens when you have a memory and you think it came from one place, but it actually came from someplace else. And that can happen in a number of different ways. One way that it can happen is you have another memory that's similar, that of something that happened to you in your life, and your brain puts the two together. There's a very, very good drawing of this later in the next blog entry, or a good drawing and a little talk about it by a memory expert. But when you remember something, you don't just go in your brain and go to the place where your memory is and get it. When you experience something, what happens is that your kinesthetic system, your auditory system, your visual system, your emotions, your more reptilian brain, all of those parts are all recording stuff at the same time, or encoding and storing stuff at the same time. So when you want to get it back, there's a part of your brain called the hippocampus, which is sort of like an index, and it goes and it grabs pieces from each of those and it reconstructs it. It's possible in the course of doing that, the index is not quite correct. And so when it rebuilds it, it doesn't rebuild it the same way each time. In fact, studies have shown it doesn't. You never remember the same thing twice the same way. One of the things of memory people will say to me when I talk to them about this is they'll look at me and they'll say, well, but there's some memories that are just so vivid that there's no possible way that they couldn't be true. One of the examples is 9/11. What were people doing at 9/11? You ask them about it, a lot of times they'll tell you, oh, there is no way I'll ever forget what I was doing when I heard about 9/11. Researchers have done things like at 9/11, one clever researcher had everyone in his class write down exactly what they were doing in as much detail as they could. And they put it aside, and later, I forget the exact amount of time, but many months, he asked them to do it again. And when they compared the two, they weren't the same at all. So we think we remember things accurately, but we don't have any real way of knowing. And the degree that we're sure something is true and accurate, and the degree to which it is true and accurate, are not particularly related. We have in our brains a circuit, basically. It's a feeling of knowing. So we feel that we know something. When that circuit fires, we feel that we know something. We may not know it, but we feel that we know it, and usually that's enough. When you think about this, many people listen to what I'm saying and they say, I don't have false memories, or maybe I have a false memory here or there or whatever. But I'd like to show you that you probably do too, and I'm going to show you a video. I do want to say one more thing before I talk about the video, which is that there's other ways that false memories can happen, which is that there's events that you might have seen in a movie and you store those, and then that event from that, pieces of that can get into a memory that you consider to be completely your own memory. Or somebody can tell you a story and you can incorporate parts of that story into your own memory, and you believe it's your own memory. And it can switch around the other way, which is that you can think up something totally clever and original that no one else has ever thought of before, But the whole time, it's something that was stored in your memory that you actually had heard before. So that's what is the source of unconscious plagiarism. I want to show you, or I am going to show you, and I hope you'll watch, a video by a guy named Brian Brushwood. And it's from a longer video called Scams, Sasquatch, and the Supernatural. He gives talks at skeptics conventions and other places. He is a very good speaker and he does his homework, so I recommend watching the longer video. It's excellent too. I chopped out one little piece, which is a memory test. And the way the memory test works is that he is going to give you a list of words and he's going to put them up on the screen and he's going to read them to you out loud. And after he's done that, he's going to give you, they're going to go away, they're going to go off the screen, and he's going to give you 1 minute to write down as many of the words as you can possibly remember. And then he's going to do it again with another list of words. And after he's done that, there's going to be a little bit that he's going to say, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to talk about what we just saw. In order to write down the list of words, you need a pen or pencil and a piece of paper. So when you're recalling from memory, you need to have a pen and a piece of paper. If you don't have one right now, pause this and go get one, because it's not going to be fun unless you do that, okay? Well, everything's fun. I mean, life's fun, but it'll be more fun if you have it. So what's going to happen now is you're going to take your pencil and piece of paper, and I'm going to fade out. And as I fade out, he's going to fade in, and right away, he's going to start giving you this list of words for you to memorize. And he'll wait a minute and give you another list and so on like that. So here goes. I'm going to fade out, and he's going to fade in, okay?
All right, here we go. The words are sour, nice, candy, honey, sugar, soda, bitter, chocolate, good, heart, taste, cake, tooth, tart, pie. You got 1 minute to write down as many of those as you can possibly remember. Many of you find that the first few will come easily and then you'll hit a wall. When you hit that wall, don't give up. Close your eyes and try to remember, and you'll be able to remember 3 or 4 more words. It's important that you get as many as you possibly can. All right, time's up. How many guys think you did pretty good? A few guys? How many guys wish you had a second chance? Okay, well, I tell you what, we're going to grant your wish here. Flip your card over or find a new place on the scratch pad. I'm going to give you a totally different set of words. And by the way, we'll up the ante here, saying whoever gets the most correct will get both a trick deck of cards and the book of scams. All right, so we got a little incentive here. You want to get as many as you can. All right, the second set, don't cheat here. The words are mad, wrath, fear, happy, hate, fight, rage, hatred, temper, mean, fury, calm, ire, emotion, and rage. You got 1 minute. Remember what I said, some of the first ones will come easy. When you hit that wall, keep pushing, don't give up. All right, time's up, time's up. All right, pencils down. Okay, how many guys think you did better on the second list than the first list? Good, because you knew what to expect, right? I tell you what, look at list number 1. Look at list number 1. Raise your hand if you got the word sweet on list number 1. Hands in the air. Look at almost all of you. Excellent. Now look at list number 2. Raise your hand if you got the word anger or angry on list number 2. Good, almost all of you again. If you raised your hand either time, you have experienced a false memory, because neither of those words were on either of these 2 lists.
Well, as you can plainly see, by far, most of the people had a false memory. And hopefully you did it with a pen and paper yourself. And I don't know if you had it, but like the audience, most people will. And as you can see, the words were grouped together by a semantic cluster. They had similar meanings, and that's an example of how your brain fills things in that are supposed to be there even if they're not there. So that's a very clear example of what was going on there. I'm going to end this blog entry now with something that I'd like to say, which is that it's worthwhile for you to think a little bit about what this means to you, because hopefully you'll realize that some of the memories that you have can't be what you think they are. And I would suggest that none of the memories that you have are what you think they are. And that's pretty unnerving. I want to go on and show you some more stuff, and so I'm going to end this blog entry, and we're going to start a new one coming up soon.